So Zenless Zone Zero has been out for a few weeks now, and so let's talk about the best free-to-play characters in the game right now and who you should, if you haven't already, level right away. Starting with Nicole. So Nicole is someone you get straight away, and she is a very capable ether element character who is surprisingly really good. Now at the release of the game, she wasn't considered that good and was just dismissed as a beginner character. But as time has passed, many have realized she is pretty good, and there's a few reasons for this. First is her great core passive that works very well with any character really. The core passive offers a very impressive 20% defense shred for 3.5 seconds anytime Nicole attacks after using her special attack, ultimate or chain attack. This is really nice and means that she can be played with pretty much any team, as this shred is just that good. It's also important to note that her X special attack is something that's really nice to have on the team, as it will launch an attack that will generate an energy field and then pull enemies towards it, allowing your other characters to quickly AoE them down and deal some very nice damage. Now while she is very good, her main downside would have to be with her additional ability, which will, whenever a core passive applies that defense shred, she will increase the team's ether damage by 25%. Now this is decent, but right now in the game, the only other ether character is her and Zhu Yuan. So you won't be able to take full advantage of her right now, but in the future, once more and more characters get released, she'll be very good. Now Anby is a personal favorite of mine who I use all the time. So she is an electric stunner character whose main job in the party is to stun the enemy by building up that daze gauge, which she does an incredible job at. As of making this video, she is the only A rank stunner in the game, which makes her especially useful as a stun team is one of the best teams in the game right now, in which you aim to stun the enemy as fast as possible so your main DPS can come in and deal the majority of your damage. Now what makes Anby especially good at this is that her skill firstly deals a lot of daze damage and pretty fast at that, but it's how you use this that really elevates her to the next level. See, whenever you use this X special skill, after using Anby's third basic attack, she will not only use this skill much faster and have less animation time, but it will also, because of Anby's core passive that states that after using her third basic attack, Thunderbolt, the next X special attack will inflict 34% extra daze damage. Now this is really big, and it's also where she becomes a really good stunner, as this will help her speed up her combo, as speed is very important for a stun character. Now what else makes her really good? Well, she belongs to a pretty good element, which has a main DPS who's an A rank, Anton, meaning you won't have to invest too much in order to have a good team for her. You only really need Anton and you're good to go. And the fact that Anton is honestly not too bad all things considered, and so definitely get Anby, especially if you don't have a good S rank DPS or anytime you need a stunner in your team. Next we have Ben. Now Ben is someone who you may not expect, as he does belong to the defense class, which as of making this video, he is the only one a part of it, and it's a class that doesn't seem to be as good as the other ones, at least for the moment. So why is Ben a great free-to-play character? Well, firstly, let's take a look at his abilities. Firstly, whenever Ben uses a follow-up attack after using his X special attack, all members will gain a shield based on Ben's defense, lasting for 30 seconds. Now this is very nice. While you hopefully won't be taking too much damage during your fights, perhaps in the future if they introduce damage that's impossible to dodge or damage that otherwise would one-shot your character, this shield will be very good. But the great thing about this ability is that if you have any other fire element characters or the same faction as Ben, they will gain an impressive 16% crit rate, which is pretty good and will make the team a lot better. But now the big reason why he is a great character is that while he is not a stun character, he can kind of fill that role, especially in fire teams where there isn't a good free or A rank fire stunner. Now while he won't fill the daze gauge as fast as other stunners like Coletta or even Anby, because of his aforementioned benefits, especially the increased crit rate, he can usually edge out over these characters. Also, if you do manage to get his M6, it does in fact, after using his X special attack, the days inflicted by his attack will be increased by quite a bit, making him a much more viable as a stun character. And so overall, a decent character and a very good replacement if you don't have Coletta, for example. Now last but certainly not least, we have Soukaku. Now this guy is absolutely amazing and by far the best character on this list. You'll get him for free as you play the game, and he is an ice element support character who arguably has one of the best buffs in the entire game, is that he will grant with his ability a possible buff of 1000 attack. This is quite possibly the single biggest buff in the entire game, and so it is so useful to have. Even if you're not running an ice team, it's still worth to run Soukaku for this buff. It also lasts 22 seconds with its duration, and this buff can get refreshed when you pass it around the team by chain attacking and assist attacking, meaning you can keep this very impressive buff up for most of the battle, which is very nice. Now alongside this, you also have his additional ability, which grants an impressive 20% ice damage buff for 22 seconds. This is really good if you have a nice team to run with him. He also can deal pretty good ice damage and can be run as a substitute anomaly character, but now it is really the attack buff that makes Soukaku so good to run. Even if you're not running him with an ice team, just because of that buff, he is by far the best free to play character and the best character on this list. The only thing you have to be wary of is that this buff is based off Soukaku's attack. The only thing you have to be wary of is that the buff is based off of Soukaku's attack, so make sure you focus on that with his disc drive stats. But now that was it for the best free to play character in Zenless Zone 0 right now. You'll probably be running at least one or two of these characters in your teams unless you got really lucky with your pulls. But now, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.